Hmm?
And I have his book, and I do recommend a lot of people grab the book. It's called Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? And he wasn't being prejudiced when he said, oh, being racist. He was just talking about power and information. And, a lot of people and minorities in business don't understand what it is to play in that playground.
I can agree.
And so, it's a powerful situation. And as I always look to one of my mentors, Dick Gregory, he always says, money is not power. It's always about the information. And so you can have a pocket full of money and don't know what to do with it. But if you have the information, you can literally come up with things, and you can be more creative, and you learn how to scale yourself without being stressed and actually worrying about your credit and everything, being in one pot. So I think it's just really, really serious for entrepreneurs in new, whether you are intermediate, advanced, or what, because you can be in business for years and still don't know this, because I didn't know. And so I think it applies to everybody who is seeking, and shame on the people who don't share the information, because most people don't, because they don't want the competition.
Exactly, because if they share with you, then they got to give up some of their money. They're so used to taking everything for themselves, they don't want you to have anything but the crumbs.
Correct. And that's the way it is. And we need to really, but at the same time, I think that information has to be seeked. And you have to be around people who will, you have to seek those kind of people that will help you get there. And we have to learn to put our money where our mouth is. We really need to learn to invest in things that's more important than pocketbooks. And, don't get me wrong, I'm a New Yorker. I love to shop. I went to fashion. I know about every designer. I grew up knowing about couture at 16 years old.
Right.
But when it comes down to me funding what I need to fund, I think that's more important, because you shine brighter when your ducks is in a row. You have to show off more and put on a game face when everything is not together. I think that even if you're walking around with flip-flops, if you got things going on in order, you feel more confident, and it helps you put yourself in a certain position that nobody can take you from. So I think it's just important to know about business funding and business credit.
Right. Now, one thing I remember, in your training, you were talking about the Dun & Bradstreet and separating yourself from your personal social security number with your business. And, like we had spoken before, I told you, watching people and asking a lot of questions. Thank God my dad, being a businessman, knew the answers to the questions that I was asking, because when Trump back in the day came up into the New York, New Jersey area and was building Trump Towers and all the Taj Mahal, and they announced that he had gone bankrupt, and he just basically said, it's okay if you know what you're doing. You can basically just go bankrupt today and open up another business tomorrow on the same block. And, that kind of triggered me to ask my dad what he was talking about. And I'm so happy that you are teaching people about that, because, it's something that it's something that is right there in your face. But what did they say? The best way to hide information is right in your face.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It is. But the thing about us is that we have to realize the state of mind that we're in. In today's society, we like to be pacified. And a lot of times, some of us, I always mention that I'm a contractor. I'm the type of person, I roll up my sleeves. So I'm the type of person, I'll get in the trenches. A lot of times people want things to be ready-made for them, and they don't want to put what we call sweat equity into anything.
Right.
I think you get in what you put in. And I think if you only put 10% in, you only deserve 10%. If you put in 100%, you deserve it all. And you should not feel no way if you have to leave some people behind, because of the simple fact, when you have a vision and you seek knowledge and things don't open up for you, mm-hmm. you need to know that sometimes some things you need to leave behind, and that's old information. Because I think, especially as minorities, we recycle a lot of old processed information that doesn't do us any good today.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I really can, because that whole notion of you got to do great in school to get the great grades, to go to college to get a good job, right. That's kind of out of the window. Even if you go to college, you're in college thinking of a way to make a place in the world without having to find a job. You're inventing a job. You're making income appear where there is no other. These young kids these days, these millennials, I talk about them all the time. They are doing some things that we only dreamed of. And even if we, were able to dream of, we just thought about like, wow, I wonder what would happen if. These kids are fearless and they're getting the information early and they're running with it. And I think, with all of us being the parents and some people being the grandparents of these millennials, we need to be able to keep up too.
And we need to be able to piggyback on what you're saying. I agree with that because I gave birth to one like that. My son is becoming a software engineer. He graduates next year, and he's already, started a business, and he's 19.
That's wonderful.
He'd be 20, but I said that to say is that we need to learn the one thing that we haven't been taught. And the one thing we have never really been taught that they don't really touch in school unless you go to school for it. And even if you go to school for it, they're not going to touch it in a way that shows you how to start a business. They're touching it in a way for you to work for someone. It's economics.
Exactly.
Is that when you are in business, you're supposed to have, I think what happens with a lot of people, they don't like talking about money. And they don't like talking about finances and credit. Like a lot of people get embarrassed. Me, I think you should be very, very, very transparent. Because when you're transparent, you face your fears, you teach your children something, they get something out of it, and they say, hey, you know what? I want to pick up where my dad and my mom left off. Because it gives them a surge in energy. But at the same time, I think that business credit and business funding should be something taught at home. Once you know it, you should teach that to your children. You should teach it to your teenagers, especially. Because then they get a different sense of life and they get a different sense of purpose.
That's true.
You just want to work for someone. But I think it's exhilarating when you have a young child or a young teenager or a young lady or a young man who wants to start a business, especially if it makes sense. Mm-hmm. They should be fully supported. And so I think business credit is totally important. I think learning and getting involved in a program that teaches you how to separate it. Because a lot of times we start it from being a guarantor or we get it from running a credit check. And my program is with no credit check and never, ever being a guarantor. And you can have poor credit and still have excellent business credit. And I think that most people are too scared to think that can exist. But it's been existing for like a couple of 100 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, believe me.
And the good thing is, if you learn how to manage your business finances, it's going to trickle into your personal life anyway, because you're going to look at things a little differently. I learned a long time ago, there's a difference between an asset and a liability. And as long as you question everything that you do between, is it an asset or a liability, you'll tend to make better decisions just to, begin to the process of doing better in life with your finances.
I agree. And but the thing is that we definitely need to be more conscious and stop being scared to spend money. I think what most people, they will spend $2,000 on a bag when they get their taxes. Mm-hmm. They will put $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on a car to ride around, look cute. Mm-hmm. You'll see women spend $600-$700 on human hair. When I talk to them about, and I wear my humans, but I know one thing: I'm not giving nobody anything before I pay myself and do what I need to do, because I'm not bald headed. I will cornrow. That,
honey, I know the feeling.
Yes, and I think that we have to learn to realize that beauty starts from the inside out, and confidence comes from the inside more than the outside. And I think now this generation, everything's on the outside, even the adults. And this is what we're teaching our children. And so that's why business credit is so far-fetched. Because we're not really putting our money where our mouths are.
Right.
And I think that sometimes you need to fall back and stop turning up so much and learn to turn down. Mm-hmm. Because things come to you more in silence than distractions.
Very true.
So I'm a huge person of solace and peace of mind and really researching and studying, because that's the only way I was able to figure this out. It took 20 years for me to really, really, really get it together. Like at least 20. And that's crazy.
Yeah, but at least you did it, and now you're helping other people do it.
Yes. I have to, because I really realize that I speak to people, how many people, they look at it, oh, I'm taking out a loan. I'm like, no, it's not a loan. What you're doing is creating a paydex score, and the paydex score is equivalent to your FICO score, to your personal credit. And so your paydex score is your equivalency for your business credit. And so you can't, your business, even though you're making money, it has no value to it. Mm-hmm. So if you want to sell the business and you have at least $200,000 worth of credit, and your income stream for the business maybe another $200,000, you're going to sit back and say, you know what, I'm going to sell this business for $450,000. And if it's valuable and it's been packaged correctly, somebody would buy it. Some people have plenty of money where they want to walk through a ready-made system. Some people don't want to figure it out.
Right.
But the business is not valuable if there's no credit.
That is true.
There's no Dun & Bradstreet there. There's no FedEx there. There's nothing there. So we need to learn that we have to create value, not just the service. The service and the value should be married to each other. And one can't do without the other. If you want to have a business to leave to your family, or to sell, or to do whatever you want to do, or to start it over again, you can have as many businesses you want to with the business money, and you can have poor credit. And I think that's what people don't understand. They need to learn to, because at the end of the day, you got to realize you're not owning anything anyway. People say, oh, I own a house. No, you don't. You don't have mortgage satisfaction. You don't own a house.
Exactly.
If you paid $100,000 for a house, you really spent $286,000, because usually you're paying 3 times more for the house.
Exactly.
So we have to learn to be careful about saying we own things. You know, we are operators, or we're managers, or we're renting, or we're leasing, but we're not owning. Mm-hmm. So even if you own it, you still have to pay the taxes for the land, or for the house itself. And if you don't pay the taxes, or even if you don't pay your HOA, because I always did real estate, and if you don't do your HOA, they can take your whole house $50 a month for 2 years.
Exactly. Yep. So really quick, tell us how to reach you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, they can reach me at NinaStylesEnterprises.com. They can go to my website. We have a new website being formed that's going to be even more interactive with a program just for entrepreneurs. But to get the information that they need to know about the business funding program, I have a couple of packages on there. They can go to Nina Styles, that's NinaStyles Enterprises.com, or they can feel free to call me at 877-390-9933. And the program is nationwide in all 50 states. And they can call me toll free, and I will give them a consultation to let them know and set up a strategy of what their plans and visions are, so we can help them take it from there.
That is fabulous. And I understand you have some really great packages too. So, you know, I tell everyone, if you're listening, even if somebody told you to listen to this later on and you're downloading it on your phone or your tablet or whatever, please get this information, because this is vital information. Everyone always talks about rebuilding their community, but they don't really know where to start. If you're starting at the root and building a strong foundation, you have a really good chance of doing just what you're setting out to do, instead of just wasting a lot of time, energy, and money. You can be actually putting it to use in a good way. So, Miss Nina, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule and, coming on and talking to us. I look forward to seeing you soon and working with you more, because of course I'm on it with you, girlfriend. I'm there. And I've been telling everybody about you ever since we met, and everyone's like, okay, well, you let me know when and let's do it. So.
Thank you so much.
Oh, definitely.
I appreciate you too, and good luck and God bless with all your endeavors. And like I said, I definitely want the listening audience to know that really right now we're losing 1 million jobs by 2018. I just want to say that by 2018, 1 million jobs is already lost. If 1 million jobs is being lost by 2018,
it's only 6 months.
And so that means that we need to do something, and we need to do it fast. So starting a business is not a leisure anymore. It's a necessity. And I just wanted to end on that note.
Most definitely. And thank you so much for giving us a call. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, Miss Nina Styles, of course, I'm on download, so you can download, play it back, get all of her information, because she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to finances and your business and everything. So you definitely want to get with her. So